Onigashima. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Anthony, and these intros keep on getting more wild. Chapter 1150, Dami Reversi. We start with the cover story. I think this is the last one of Yamato and Scabbard's now ulti and
Finally,
page one.
honestly.
You
I
know,
mean, this actual panel, I like better than some of the other ones we've got, but it felt like this kind of dragged. We didn't really get much out of it, to be honest.
yeah. So
Like, especially being back in Wano, I was really hoping to get like some cool reveals or something. Like, the last cover story was so good with
there's a lot of
Blackbeard's
reveals in the
capturing
last
pudding.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever. We're done now. We can get to the actual crazy part of the chapter.
Oh my god.
Holy crap, was this chapter insane.
I did
Imu
not.
did not disappoint.
I did not see any of this coming, to be honest. I don't know who could have really guessed what happened here, but you know, somebody says this is mayhem. That might have been just Imu saying that, but we see this like crazy burst of hockey, right? Not. I will say this about the burst of hockey, not nearly as big as the Joy Boy hockey, because also like I would imagine that we would have gotten a reaction from like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji down at the base here if it was that big, but it did stretch all the way to the village we see in that one panel, and then we see.
Well, I mean, the village is not that far from them, to be fair, because like Gunko was right near all the kids before, and we see right here at the beginning the kids are going to like the villagers and stuff. So they're not that far, and on top of that, like it really only affected like kids and civilians, not like any of the warriors. Versus like the Joy Boy hockey, like was knocking out like Marines and not admirals, vice admirals and stuff. So like clearly that one was way stronger.
It's true,
but that doesn't really detract from the craziness that Imu pulled off here. Like first of all, I feel like this is a hard confirmation of what we've been saying for a while now. Imu's got like the devil fruit, right? Like very evidently.
I don't know about hard confirmation of the fact that it's a devil fruit, but I would think that it's like pretty close to being there. This design is really cool. Like I love the bat wings, and I think we all kind of saw coming the whole like devil tail, devil trident. Like this is like the classic like toony version of the devil, like Cupheady sort of like, you know,
which makes perfect sense with like Luffy's powers, right? With his toon force, he's a god
right
in terms of tunes. This is a devil in terms of like tunes. So like, and the things we see Imu do in this chapter are insane. Being able to turn people into demons, like we saw when Brogy captured him / her, whatever this body is.
Yeah.
Like instantly, one blew off his hand with the shotgun he pulled out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I guess he could just materialize things like Luffy was. And then two, instantly, like he couldn't even resist. And you would think Brogy would be a strong one that had powers to resist. Like, so what are the limits to these powers?
Yeah.
Like, how many people, like, how strong do they have to be? I don't know.
I saw some cool theories of like, okay, so if this is the devil fruit, like a lot of people have been saying that like Imu is literally like the devil incarnate. Like we saw Shanks way back in chapter 1 when he was first talking about the devil fruits being like, oh, all the fruits come from like the sea devil or whatever. So maybe this is the sea devil, you know what I mean? It's just like Imu. We know that like Imu backwards is Umi. There's that whole thing about the Umi Bozu in folklore, which is like this sea demon that, you know, sinks sea ships and stuff and lives in the water, whatever. So a lot of things pointing to just Imu being and clearly, like, you know, Sabo saw what he described to be hell at the top of the Holy Land, which this looks like hell to me. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can see why he thought that after seeing this. Like,
exactly. But the thing with like pulling out the shotgun, so Imu like summons this like grimoire, like the spell book, right? And out comes, you know, a shotgun at first, but that's like not really the only power we see by them. It's like, so one of the things that I heard, or like a theory, was that maybe in this book exists all the devil fruit powers. Like maybe this is like some version of the devil fruit encyclopedia where Imu can just whip out any devil fruit power, and this could be like Baby Five's power, for example, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like how she was able to turn any part of her body into a into like a weapon.
I don't know how I feel about that necessarily, about having like any devil fruit in there, because if that's the case, why are you only bringing out like a shotgun? Like the only thing we really see this book do here is pull out the shotgun, and then Imu, not even necessarily with the book, is able to turn people into demons, right? So like,
Well, I
don't
feel like
know.
that's probably the
It
main
could,
power, right? Is like the swapping to demons thing, because now we
but I don't know if
know.
that's a power of the book though.
Right, that
Like,
could be
I
a
feel like the
separate
book
thing.
is there to materialize items. I feel like it's kind of like a pocket dimension where you can like pull items out of it, but like you have to kind of put those items into it also.
Right. That
But
would make
not
sense.
necessarily like, oh, pull out anything you want. And like maybe you can put devil fruits in there, right? It's like, oh, I can maybe, well, I don't know. I was gonna say use those powers, but that wouldn't
You would
really
have to
make
like
sense because
eat
then you'd
it,
have to
right?
eat multiple devil
Well, I
fruits.
know we
Yeah.
know one person that has multiple devil fruits, so it's a
Hey,
possibility.
maybe that's a secret later on.
Could
We'll
be.
have to see.
I think now it's like kind of the confirmation that we know Emu. This is what Emu's powers are, as far as we know right now. Right, has the ability to summon things out of the Scrimor, obviously. Has the ability to turn people into demons, which we saw with Dory and Brogy and a bunch of the other pirates. Poor Dory and Brogy, by the way. Like,
I know.
oh my
I do
god.
have a theory about that also, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, and then after turning them into demons, can pretty much like control them from afar, right? And I think what we saw last chapter was Gunko, breaking free of that. So it's like maybe we saw in her own flashback she was like a normal person calling out for her father or whatever, and then in later in the chapter when she starts having her memories, then Emu is able to like flip that switch and then control her. It's probably because she was kind of breaking out of this like demonic state, this like trance that Emu puts them in, and so like that's like kind of a hard confirmation of like that being one of Emu's powers, like him actually imparting powers onto other people, like the Gorosei and the Holy Knights.
Well, and that's what I was gonna mention too, is maybe it's not all of the Holy Knights are being like controlled like this, because what I saw people pointing out a few chapters ago also is like all the other people have like Saint in front of, like Saint Summer, Saint Killingon, but this is just Gunko, no Saint. So I wonder if those Saints were like actual celestial dragons that became Holy Knights, and then Gunko was more of a person who got turned into one because she was taken over like that, and that's kind of part of that.
Yeah.
Which then you have to think, okay, well, if that's the case, then clearly they can break free, because we saw it starting to happen last chapter. And the way you do it is with like, I guess, the memories of like your loved ones or traumatic events or something. So I wonder what we're gonna have to dig up to like break Dory and Brogy out of it, because I can't imagine just like hitting them really hard is what's gonna cause them to like
No, I mean,
fall out of
it's got to be
state.
like something spiritual. What I've seen a lot of people talk about is because of the Brook relevance, is that maybe his music will be able to bring them out of the trance somehow, or maybe that on the other side, maybe Nika will be the one that is able to like liberate them of this, because Gunko had said before like, oh, I'm scared of Nika, right? So maybe once Luffy shows up here,
Maybe that was Emu talking through Gunko, saying he's scared of Nika.
maybe it could have been like a subconscious thing, because it's not direct. Like I feel like Emu didn't really, like Emu was probably like watching this whole time, because, or like has some sort of feeling where they could like watch through the other. This is all really confusing. Like I don't really know how like Emu's powers work yet.
And I mean, that's part of the fun of it, right? Is figuring out how they work. The other thing I was going to say, though, about him being able to turn people into demons is, so since all these like giants are getting like these horns and stuff, this really reminds me of like the ancient Onis and the giants. So I wonder if like the ancient giants, like back in the day, were spawns of Emu, like it was giants turned into like Onis like this, and then eventually those genes just got passed down through generations, got a little bit diluted, but that's kind of where they spawned from initially.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like these same effects, like I wonder if since Loki has like demon blood or like Oni blood in him, it's not going to be able to affect him as much, and he's going to be able to help stop this. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, that's really interesting. The whole Dory and Brogy like turning thing is gonna be really emotional for the Straw Hats, I'm sure, especially like Usopp. We keep on saying like something's gonna happen with Usopp, but who knows? It seems like Jarul's gonna.
Now or never.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be, right. Like this to me. I don't know how they're gonna like stop this and subdue this without this becoming a bigger thing at this point. Like I always have the opinion before Emu showed up that like you know, we were gonna get a chance for Gabon to like teach them what was up about the regeneration thing or like whatever. Like there was gonna be some sort of like cool down point, but this is not cooling down. This is ramping up. This is, to me, almost maybe the start of their like Ragnarok, because I feel like at this point with all these giants going haywire and all these like, you know, Kiringham's monsters going around, that it's gotta be, and Jarul's gonna like fight them, but I can't imagine that Jarul's even like remotely ready to take even regular Dorian Brogy, let alone demon form all of these guys, right?
No, I have a feeling Jarul's gonna die, to be honest. Like, one, he's really old, and Oda has less of a problem killing off old characters, especially if it was like doing something noble like this. So I could see, and I said that kind of last chapter about Gabon also.
Yeah.
So I could see Jarul dying too. And speaking of Gabon, I feel like this is confirmation in this chapter when Brook was like, "Oh yeah, Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy are in the realm of the dead," which is the same place where Gabon was falling to. We saw that like calling like, "Oh, Dad was falling into the realm of the dead." That to me kind of just like soft confirmed what we were saying before. Like they're gonna stop him from falling and bring him back up and be able to fight. Or when he falls down there, he's gonna be able to tell them like, "Hey, look, this is what's been happening above. You guys got to go help like right now."
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's going to be some type of trigger.
It's true. You know what I didn't notice last chapter though is that like Chopper, I think, might have run after Gabon in like as he was like falling. So Chopper might be down there also to like heal him back up.
Yeah, I figured Chopper was just running towards like Summers to like understand his body, but he could have been running towards Gabon. We also see Summers fine in this chapter. We see him actually regenerating again, so it looks like you don't stop the regeneration completely. It's something he did was slowing down the regeneration.
Yeah,
but I don't know exactly.
Well, you would probably have to do more. Like I feel like Scopper just didn't have enough time to like completely deal with Summers because he had to go deal with Gunko and the kids and everything.
Yeah.
So it'd probably have to be maybe a few more hits in, or like something else had to happen. I mean, he did. I would say that if you would, you know, like I'm putting Gabon above Summers in the tier list. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
I am too.
So I don't know what the secret's gonna be, but I do think whatever is gonna happen here, like Luffy has to get involved like really quickly, and so does Zoro and Sanji, and Loki for that matter. Like Loki's gonna have to come up here. Another thing, a theory that I saw was the whole, you know, Loki was framed thing, right? That, and we saw at the castle before that there was like a pentagram that was like left over. So like what if, and they also said that like Loki killed like 100 giant pirates there on that day, and the only one left standing was like him and Jarul, right? So like what if something like this happened and all the giants returned, and that's why he had to like kill them all, and like obviously Jarul has just like a sword in his head, so he has like amnesia or whatever. So I think that could be maybe like have foreshadowed this moment, or maybe that this is like setting up kind of like a flashback.
I could definitely see that happening, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. Like something like him dealing with some type of situation like this. The only slight part I don't like is just the amnesia plotline again.
Yeah,
I feel like that tends to be like a cop out. Like they did it with Sabo, they did it with Big Mom. So like, but I will say at least they kind of set it up here because they're like, oh, he has a sword in his head.
right.
So like it kind of makes a little bit more sense. But maybe it was something where like he saw like Jarul walked in on the aftermath and he saw Loki with the dead bodies of the other giants around. So he thinks Loki killed him, but in reality Loki was just killing people who got turned into demons or something.
That could be it.
So it could be a little bit of both.
Well, one thing's for sure, I like that this is gonna be the start of a gigantic battle, and Imu, I think this is enough, quite honestly, to put Imu on the tier list at this point.
I agree. I feel like we're finally getting power scaling feats for him, and this is like, I'm not gonna lie, a pretty big one.
It's a pretty big one.
Like if you thought Dory and Brogy were strong, I mean, they said in this chapter, like, they got even stronger. They're huge now.
Yeah.
Like, look at them towering over the other giants. They're like as big as like Loki is.
And
I mean, maybe even bigger. We'd have to see a comparison.
yeah, and I mean, I can't imagine that this is even anywhere close to Emu's full power. This has got to be just like a taste of it, right? Because like this isn't even the actual Emu.
Yeah, like this can't be like Emu's full power, right? Like he's millions of miles, well, maybe not millions, but he's miles away right now.
Yeah.
So like, if he's doing this from this far away, imagine why he's in close proximity and he's able to actually like control things better. And what if he can do this to more than one person at a time? Like, what if he controls the 5 elders like this, and he can do this exact same thing with each of them at the same time? Like, I feel like this Emu final battle is going to be insane, and this is kind of just the tip of the iceberg right now.
Yeah, 100%. This is just a taste of the final villain, but it's not a taste. I don't know how I'm doing this segue. No break next week.
Yeah, no break next week, even though we've been wrong about that a bunch recently.
Oh my god, yeah.
But we're praying that there's no break next week.
All right. Well, hopefully, if there is no break next week, we'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell us your theories in the comments about, you know, what's going on here. What is Emu's true power? What's gonna happen in the next chapter? Give us your theories.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many you can come up with this. Like, so much happened. I'm sure you guys can even think of way more than what we thought of on our own. So let us know. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.